San Diego, a city of sun-kissed beaches and vibrant streets. But beneath the postcard-perfect facade lies a shocking reality. Homelessness surging out of control, drugs ravaging lives, and desperation fueling a hidden world of exploitation. What went wrong in this Californian paradise? The answers will leave you speechless. Welcome to Globe Path Travel Documentary. Here, we uncover the stories that others overlook, shining a light on the hidden challenges and untold realities shaping our world. In this episode, we take you to the streets of San Diego, where homelessness, prostitution, and drug abuse paint a stark contrast to the city's sunny reputation. Together, let's explore the truths that demand to be seen and the solutions that can inspire change. Homelessness in San Diego, behind the scenes of a crisis. Picture this. You're walking along a sunny San Diego street, the coastal breeze on your skin, surrounded by stunning architecture and vibrant communities. But as you turn a corner, the scene changes. Rows of tents line the sidewalks, individuals huddled under makeshift shelters of tarps and cardboard, desperately clinging to scraps of hope. Homelessness in San Diego isn't just a fleeting issue, it's an epidemic that's grown into a defining feature of the city. At its core lies a devastating trifecta: unaffordable housing, stagnant wages, and an economic divide that leaves thousands behind. Rents have skyrocketed, with one-bedroom apartments averaging over $2,500 a month, pricing out even those with full-time jobs. For many, the cycle begins with a single financial setback: an unexpected medical bill, a job loss, or even an eviction. When savings dry up, people are left with no safety net. Shelters, overwhelmed by the rising demand, can offer little more than temporary refuge. The reality on the streets is harsh. Hunger is constant, health issues go untreated, and safety is a luxury few can afford. The fear of violence, theft, and exploitation casts a dark shadow over daily life, especially for women and children. This crisis is more than a collection of individual struggles. It's a reflection of a broken system. While new developments rise in affluent neighborhoods, the city's most vulnerable populations are left to survive in neglected spaces. Hidden in plain sight, can San Diego turn the tide? The path forward lies in addressing affordable housing shortages, expanding mental health services, and creating stronger social safety nets. But these changes require more than policies. They demand empathy, action, and a commitment to restoring hope for those left behind. Prostitution and exploitation. Prostitution in San Diego has become a grim reality, fueled by desperation and systemic neglect. As homelessness and addiction rise, many vulnerable individuals are coerced into sex work as a last resort for survival. This shadowy industry thrives in the city's underbelly, leaving its victims exposed to violence, exploitation, and life-threatening conditions. The streets of San Diego have become a battleground where survival often comes at the cost of dignity and safety. The rise in prostitution is closely tied to the city's homelessness crisis. With no stable shelter or income, individuals, many of them women and teenagers, are lured or forced into sex work by predators who exploit their vulnerability. Addiction often plays a significant role, as traffickers use drugs to manipulate and control their victims. This creates a vicious cycle where individuals are trapped in exploitation, unable to escape due to fear, dependency, or lack of resources. Efforts to address prostitution in San Diego have often fallen short. Policies have historically focused on criminalizing sex workers rather than targeting the root causes of exploitation. This approach not only fails to protect victims, but also pushes the industry further underground, making it harder to identify and assist those in need. Recent legislative efforts, such as proposed bills to combat human trafficking, aim to shift the focus towards supporting victims and cracking down on traffickers too. However, The effectiveness of these measures remains to be seen. The impact of prostitution extends beyond the individuals involved. Communities in affected areas report increased crime, declining property values, and a pervasive sense of insecurity. Families and business owners are left grappling with the visible consequences of an issue that operates largely in the shadows. Addressing this crisis requires a multifaceted approach. Legal reforms must prioritize the protection of victims and the prosecution of traffickers. Comprehensive social programs are essential to provide housing, addiction recovery, and mental health support for those at risk. Community-based organizations play a crucial role in outreach and rehabilitation, offering a lifeline to individuals seeking to escape exploitation. San Diego's struggle with prostitution is a stark reminder of the human cost of systemic failures. It's a call to action for policymakers, law enforcement, and society as a whole to address the desperation and inequality that fuel this crisis. Only through empathy, action, and sustained commitment can the city hope to break the cycle of exploitation and restore hope to its most vulnerable residents. The drug epidemic. San Diego is in the grip of a devastating drug epidemic that has infiltrated every corner of the city. Methamphetamine and opioids, particularly fentanyl, are at the heart of this crisis, driving addiction rates to unprecedented levels. Overdose deaths have surged, with fentanyl alone responsible for a significant portion of fatalities. Public health officials describe the situation as a public health emergency, with no signs of slowing down. The impact of this epidemic is visible everywhere. Public spaces, once bustling with life, now bear the scars of addiction. Discarded needles litter sidewalks, and emergency responders are overwhelmed with overdose calls. Rehabilitation centers are operating at full capacity, unable to meet the growing demand for treatment. The crisis has also fueled homelessness, as addiction often leads to job loss and eviction, trapping individuals in a relentless cycle of dependency and despair. This epidemic doesn't just affect those struggling with addiction. It ripples through families, neighborhoods, and the broader community. Crime rates have risen as individuals turn to illegal activities to fund their habits. Healthcare systems are stretched thin, and the emotional toll on families is immeasurable. Addressing this crisis requires a multifaceted approach. Increased funding for addiction recovery programs is essential to provide accessible and effective treatment options. Expanding mental health services can help address the underlying issues that often lead to substance abuse. Community outreach programs are also critical, connecting individuals with resources and support before addiction takes hold. San Diego's drug epidemic is a stark reminder of the urgent need for systemic change. Without bold action, the city risks losing more lives and further straining its communities. However, with the right investments and a compassionate approach, there is hope for recovery and a brighter future. Let me know if you'd like further details or insights. Impact on the community. The crises of homelessness, drug addiction, and exploitation in San Diego have created ripple effects that touch every corner of the community. Rising crime rates have become a stark reality, with theft, vandalism, and violent incidents increasing in areas heavily impacted by these issues. Families living in these neighborhoods often feel unsafe, and the strain on law enforcement resources has made it difficult to address the growing concerns effectively. Healthcare systems are overwhelmed, struggling to provide adequate care for the unhoused population and those battling addiction. Emergency rooms are frequently inundated with cases related to overdoses, untreated illnesses, and mental health crises, leaving fewer resources available for the broader community. Rehabilitation centers, too, are operating at full capacity, unable to meet the demand for addiction recovery services. Local businesses are feeling the economic impact as foot traffic declines in areas affected by visible homelessness and crime. Tourism, a vital part of San Diego's economy, is also suffering as visitors become wary of venturing into neighborhoods where these crises are most apparent. The city's reputation as a sunny, welcoming destination is being overshadowed by the harsh realities of its struggles. Without intervention, these challenges threaten to redefine San Diego's future. The interconnected nature of these crises means that addressing one issue without tackling the others will only provide temporary relief. Comprehensive solutions that focus on affordable housing, mental health support, addiction recovery, and community outreach are essential to reversing the tide and restoring stability to the city. A Path to Recovery. San Diego stands at a crossroads, grappling with interconnected crises of homelessness, addiction, and exploitation. While the challenges are immense, the city has begun to take steps toward recovery, driven by community initiatives and systemic reforms. These efforts, however, require significant scaling and sustained commitment to make a meaningful impact. Affordable housing is at the heart of the solution. San Diego's housing market has become inaccessible for many, with rents soaring beyond the reach of working-class families. Increasing funding for housing projects is essential to address this issue. Reforming zoning laws, which often restrict the development of low-income housing, can pave the way for more affordable options. By prioritizing housing accessibility, the city can provide stability for thousands of residents who are currently at risk. Addiction recovery programs are another critical component. The drug epidemic has devastated lives and communities, trapping individuals in cycles of dependency. Expanding access to rehabilitation centers and mental health services can help those struggling with addiction regain control of their lives. These programs must be designed to address the root causes of substance abuse, offering comprehensive support that includes counseling, medical care, and community reintegration. Social support services play a vital role in helping individuals rebuild their lives. Education, employment, and skill-building resources can empower people to break free from cycles of poverty and dependency. These services not only provide immediate relief, but also create pathways to long-term stability and success. By investing in social support, San Diego can foster a more resilient and inclusive community. Legal reforms are necessary to address exploitation and protect vulnerable populations. Policies that focus on prosecuting traffickers and providing support for victims can help combat the rise of prostitution and human trafficking. These reforms must be accompanied by community outreach programs that connect individuals with resources and safe alternatives. San Diego's residents and leaders must come together to push for these changes. The road to recovery is challenging, but it is not impossible. By combining bold policy decisions with grassroots efforts, the city can overcome its crises and rebuild a brighter, more inclusive future. This transformation requires empathy, action, and a shared commitment to creating a city where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. The drug epidemic in San Diego has left countless individuals trapped in cycles of addiction and despair. But behind the statistics are deeply human stories that reveal the devastating impact of this crisis. Albert's story. Albert spent decades cycling between prison and homelessness, his life overshadowed by substance abuse. His addiction cost him everything, including the chance to be by his mother's side during her final moments. This heartbreaking loss became a turning point for Albert. Upon his release from jail, he checked himself into a sober living facility and began his journey toward recovery. Today, Albert is sober, employed, and living in stable housing. After 40 years of struggle, he finally has a secure place to call home. Byron's story. Byron, a retired war veteran, faced immense challenges after leaving the military. Substance abuse and incarceration led him to homelessness, leaving him feeling lost and hopeless. Determined to turn his life around, Byron reached out to the Alpha Project outreach team, where he found shelter and support. Through weekly recovery groups and volunteer work, Byron rebuilt his confidence and secured rental assistance through a VA program. In June 2022, he signed the lease to his new studio apartment, marking the start of a new chapter in his life. These stories highlight the resilience of individuals facing the harsh realities of addiction and homelessness. They also underscore the importance of accessible recovery programs and community support in helping people reclaim their lives. San Diego stands at a critical juncture. The challenges of homelessness, addiction, and exploitation have reshaped the city's landscape and impacted countless lives. But this crisis does not define San Diego. Its resilience and potential for change do now is the time for action. We must address the root causes of these crises and commit to solutions that create long-lasting impact. Investing in affordable housing, expanding recovery programs, reforming policies to protect the vulnerable, and empowering communities with social support systems are essential steps. Change requires more than government initiatives. It demands collective effort. Residents, businesses, and organizations must come together to advocate for bold reforms and support those on the front lines of this crisis. With compassion and determination, San Diego can rebuild not just structures but lives, restoring hope and dignity to its most vulnerable citizens. The future of San Diego depends on the choices we make today. Let us stand united, take action, and inspire positive change. Thank you for joining us on this journey with GlobePath Travel Documentary. The challenges facing San Diego are immense, but awareness is the first step toward meaningful change. Together, we can shed light on the unseen and inspire action that brings hope to those in need. If you found this episode eye-opening, don't forget to like, comment, and share. And hit that subscribe button to stay connected as we explore stories that matter. One path at a time.